how are y'all?
Morning.
Good, good. It's good to have y'all back.
Good to be back.
Yeah. I think the questions this week are pretty intense. So, are you ready?
We're ready. Let's do it.
All right. What happens to our souls when we die?
Okay.
Let's just jump right in.
Whenever I hear even the word soul, I always think about my grandfather died young. He died when I had just turned 6 years old. And I remember I was not able to go in and see him in the hospital. So I remember when I asked what it meant that he was going to die, when my mom and dad told me that we knew he was going to die, they said that when a person dies, the soul just leaves and goes into the air. And so I've always remembered that I had this picture of my grandfather, and then the soul, which I'm not really sure what that looks like, just kind of goes up into the air.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that our soul goes back to God who created us.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I believe.
I honestly don't even know. I haven't really thought about it. I kind of like the idea of, I guess it's more like what Eric was saying. Like, I think when we die, the soul is the part of us that goes to be in heaven with God.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. You know, a few weeks back, we did get a question about the soul. What is the soul, and why do we pray for it? And when we talked about it a few weeks back, we talked about the soul being like that life within us, and God gave it to us. So I think it is really fitting that if God gave us that life within us, when we die, we do go to be with God. And don't know what that's like, but I feel like whatever's with God's going to be pretty great and pretty awesome and pretty amazing. I don't know what it looks like, and that can be scary, but as long as it's with God, I think there's nothing to be afraid of, right?
Sounds good
absolutely.
to me.
The things that Pastor Eric and I wear on Sunday kind of looks like a long scarf. We call them stoles. What are they? What are they for? And where do we get them?
So a stole, so for those who don't know, a stole that looks like a scarf, sort of like the long scarf that we wear around our necks now. And so for one thing, it signifies, the stole signifies the ordained person, that they are bearing this mantle of Christ around their shoulders. That's one of the reasons we wear it. And deacons wear a stole that looks a little bit different. And where do we get them from? I think that's actually a fun question too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's special companies around the world, but in America, that make stoles in clothing or investments for pastors. But often, I don't know if I've ever purchased one myself, because they've been gifts from people. I've received some from, former churches, former church councils. When I was ordained,
Mm-hmm.
I was given one. When we were in Israel 2 years ago, Miss Janice at church, I didn't have a blue one, an Advent one, so she bought one in Jerusalem, the Jerusalem cross.
Mm-hmm.
So they come often stoles, or at least for me, they have stories, because it carries the story of the person who gave it.
Family and friends and like my home church, they took time to pick them out and really think about how they wanted that stole to look. And they're really special to me, because whenever I wear it, I always think of the person who gave it to me. And my red one, the very first one I wore, that one came from my mom and dad. There's my green one and my purple one came from my home church. My blue one and my white one came from my grandparents. So, and even St. Matthew's gave me one too. It's a reminder that while that stole represents the responsibility we have as pastors, we don't do this work alone, that there's other people behind us the whole time.
More than a fashion accessory.
Daniel, you'll have one before you know it.
Yes, you will.
Can I get a bright pink one? Is that cool?
There is one Sunday in the church calendar that you can use pink.
When is that?
Yeah, Gaudete
When-
Sunday.
When is it?
It's a Sunday in Advent, I believe. And I think there could be another one, but I have to research that. But there is definitely a pink Sunday. What are y'all's favorite movies?
Let me think about it. I'm gonna have to list a few, but then I'll come to my all-time favorite. What do y'all think? What are yours?
Lion King, for sure, is one of them, like the original. Any kind of action, I don't know. It's like a cult classic. For me, would be one I've loved for a while is the Boondock Saints. It's a really bad movie, but it's really good. Miracle on Ice. I think when you look at sports movies, that's a classic.
When I was a kid, I had read Matilda, the book, and then I got to see the movie Matilda. And so as a kid, I think I watched that movie quite a few times. Really loved watching Indiana Jones. And but I think the movie, the set of movies I never get tired of is the Star Wars trilogy, particularly A New Hope. I love that movie.
A few of mine are on that. I guess Raiders of the Lost Ark is one of my all-time favorites. If I weren't a pastor, I'd be an archaeologist. Star Wars, of course, Star Wars, I love all. Godfather 1 and 2. But then there's a terrible movie from the 70s, which is one of my favorites. It's called Midnight Madness. My brothers and I used to watch it when we were, but my all-time favorite movie is Jaws. Jaws is my all-time favorite movie. Fantastic. Just fantastic.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
Need a bigger boat. But those are some good ones. There's so many. I would love to talk about movies. I'd love to talk about movies.
If anybody has questions, as always, send them to Daniel. Thank you guys for coming back.
Thanks for having us.
Well, everybody,